Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross from PTCGRadio, and this is me back again with another video from PTCGO, the official online Pokemon trading card game. Now today I'm going to be using TDK, a classic deck, Thunderous, Deoxys, Kyurem, the kind of Plasma deck, which was the first one that really came around and saw a bunch of play, and this is going to be the first part of a two-parter. I'm going to be playing against a Miltank deck this time, and if you've been listening to my podcast recently, PTCGRadio, you can look them up, just Google them, look on iTunes, etc. You will have heard that these Miltank decks have been doing alright around some of the international nationals. So, as I've played a couple games against them, I thought it would be nice to actually show you how these decks work. And although I'm not playing it, they are. Now, I warned you previously I'd be going second a lot, but this is kind of why I like playing TDK. Yeah, I'm going second, but I've started Thunderous, and I've got a Lightning Energy in hand. So I'm going to get a turn 1 Raiden Knuckle. Not only that, but I've been nice enough to start with a Laser Verbank as well, so I'm going to be starting with a minimum of 60 damage on his Miltank turn 1, which is pretty darn nice indeed. So I've got me Thunderous and me Energy, and the question is there, can I basically get rid of a Thunderous? I want to use that Ultra, but in the end I just can't justify using it. So I Bicycle for 2, I hit the Deoxys, that's going to give me 10 extra damage per turn. Now I'm hitting for 70. And now I can Colress for 6, which is, as far as Colress go, pretty darn nice. There are no energy in my discard pile. That means that Thunderous's Raiden Knuckle will not attach an energy to my bench Pokemon, which kind of sucks. But I can still Raiden Knuckle for 40. It will then add 30 from the poison, and this means that unless he can get the Miltank out of the active, or cure the poison, or play his own stadium to counter Verbank City Gym, that Miltank is actually going to die coming into my turn, putting me a prize card up and giving me the attack. Now you can already see his deck is going off pretty darn fast. He's already got 3 Piplups down, one which is a Primplup, 2 Miltanks and a Duskull. And in terms of early game, this is pretty much ideal. Now, he wasn't able to get it out the active or do anything else, so he had to, what I like to term, feed me a Miltank. So I'm 1 prize up and it's my turn. Now here, there's a few choices. I can end, but I'm going to be going down to 5, and really, I want to be getting Muscle Band, Laser, Deoxys, and Kyurem down, so I can be smashing a load of damage with Raiden Knuckle and setting up Kyurem. So, I am going to take the slightly dodgy issue here of Junipering. And this does 2 things. Firstly, it gets me more cards. Secondly, it gets energy in the discard that I can use, so I can use Raiden Knuckle properly. Now, because I've gotten rid of 3 Plasma Energy, that Chorus Machine is going to be the only one I use this game, but I get to attach it to Thunderous. And what I'm really doing here is setting up a Thunderous to use its second attack, Thunderous Noise, which does 90 damage. And with Deoxys, and so I just use a Power Pad there to get my 2 Colress back because they're really good supporters. Power Pad's a nice little card which, it puts your supporters back in, it adds some nice late game consistency, stops you running out of supporters. I've become a big fan of this card lately. So, I've got some energy in the discard, and I'm going to start building up that Thunderous, because 90 damage is going to very easily one-hit a Empoleon, but it's also going to one-hit a Miltank because of Deoxys, so it's going to get me easy one-hit KOs, potentially from next turn. So, he's going to end me to 5, and annoyingly I don't draw a supporter despite Power Padding 2 in. But if you look at the way I'm set up there, I've got my Thunderous hitting for a bit of damage, and I've got 1 on the bench ready to go properly, and I've got a Kyurem I can start building up, and I've got a pair of Deoxys. So, looking at his deck then, Miltank basically does 80 damage for 1 energy when you've got a stage 2 on the bench. It's, as you just saw him do there, it's a very good energy efficient attack which lets you trade prizes very nicely with predominantly EX based decks, which essentially is what I'm running here, unless I can get my Kyurems working. There's also an Absol in here because I only have 2 Kyurems. Now, in terms of the stage 2, you can run whichever one you like. This is the one which has been doing the most good lately. You'll also notice I didn't get a Laser last turn. Had I got a Laser last turn, I would have got the KO on Miltank. And that's one of the reasons I went for the aggressive Juniper, but I missed it. Hey ho, what can you do? And I put the energy on Kyurem there because Kyurem, his second attack, is going to do, well, 120 plus Deoxys plus Laser plus Muscle Band, and he only gives up a single prize. So, essentially, his deck is all about trading KOs, and that's what he's really looking for. So, unfortunately, cannot hit an escape rope there, but I can do the Raid Knuckle, and I can put the energy on. I assume I'm going to put it on Kyurem here. Yes. And help build him up as well as Thunderous. So I'm starting to get some energy going here. So he's just basically doing 80 damage per turn. So the question is, what are you actually going to pair it with? He's gone for Empoleon, and this is the one that's been seeing the most success. Empoleon has a nice attack, 1 water energy, 10 times the Pokemon in play, up to 120, which is really quite good. So he's going to play Lysander here to get the Deoxys. And really what he's doing here is trying to stall me out. He's basically trying to say to me, haha, I'm going to stick your Deoxys active, and I'm just going to hit it. And of course he's playing Dusknoir. Dusknoir allows him to move the energy all around my field. If he can just keep a Deoxys active and get a Dusknoir out, he can just do 80, spread it to my bench, do 80, spread it to my bench, and kill me before I ever get rid of it. But of course I'm hoping that's not going to happen, and I draw the escape rope. So I did waste a laser. But if I didn't hit the laser, if I didn't hit the escape rope, he could have stayed asleep and built up damage rather than hitting me. So it would have been very nice indeed. So the reason he's playing Empoleon is, first of all, like I said, he's got that attack which does a lot of damage, but it's also got the draw engine, and that is really, really good. Empoleon's ability allows you to discard a card and draw 2, but you'll have seen that he's playing Execute here, where when it's in your discard, whenever you like, you can bring it back to your hand. So essentially, you bring the Execute, discard that, draw 2. You're basically just drawing 2 per turn as soon as you've got the Execute in the discard pile. Free Empoleon, you're drawing 6 per turn. It makes the deck incredibly consistent. It means you're going to get set up and do what you like. So you see here that he's got the Ultra Ball, so he's probably going to be going for Dusknoir, and that shouldn't surprise you. He's got the Empoleons out, and one nice thing about Empoleon is, as soon as you've got the first Empoleon, he's drawing cards, which helps you get more Empoleons. Now you'll notice up to now, the game has very much been going my way. I've taken 3 quick early prizes, he's not even 2 hitting, because he's only doing 160 over 2 turns with Miltank, and I'm going to win this game nice and simply. He knows that, hence the Dusknoir. Now he can move the energy around, and he can basically take whatever KOs he likes. One thing you can do is, I mean, he's hitting for 80 now, so he can leave the active Thunderous on 90, and then get the KO. Or he can just spread the damage to my bench, take out the Pokemon that have got energy on that are bigger threats, and just keep hitting the active Thunderous for 80. And you can see here he is very slowly killing that Thunderous with free energy. Of course he's killing that Thunderous with free energy, because at the moment that's the one that is potentially going to be killing him nice and quickly. That Thunderous, once I get 4 energy on, is one-hitting anything on his field. Even that Dusknoir's not going to last very long. Time to stick a Muscle Band on and start throwing some lasers down. Now the other thing he is allowed to do here is get mid-game prizes. Mid-turn prizes. So you'll see there he took 2 prizes and it's still his turn. Now the good news is he also took all but 10 damage off my field, which means at least for a turn or 2 that Dusknoir's not going to be doing very well. So what I need to do at this stage is just keep taking prizes. If I can keep taking prizes, I'm probably going to do okay here. But if I miss just a turn or 2 of prizes, he is going to very quickly be taking me down by just doing damage and spreading rid of Dusknoir. But one thing you'll notice that I've been doing this game is spreading my energy around nicely. I did have the Thunderous with free energy on, but there's no point putting 4 energy on. If I want to attack, I'll put the 4th energy on that turn. Similarly, I've got the Kyurem with energy on and the Thunderous with 1 energy on. So that's doing quite nicely. So, you'll see there I've got a decent hand, I've got a couple of lasers, I've got my Thunderous. There's a lot of different options I can go through here, although I probably don't want to end myself. So I'm going to get another Pokemon, I'm going to play the Ultra Ball, and I basically discarded the only things I could there. It sucks, but what can you do at the end of the day? It had to be done. Now I got another Thunderous because it's going to be Thunderous that's really going to be able to do a little bit of damage. And I want to retreat the active Thunderous so that it's not going to get killed. Now I know he's got the Dusknoir out, but really it's about the Kyurem here. I'm going to want to be doing his first attack to try and get a KO. Unfortunately, with Laser, that's not doing enough damage yet. So I'm going to play the Colress, and I'm going to hope that I can get something from there. Now, one thing I could do here is scramble switch the Thunderous up and put all the energy on there, but that would actually not be a particularly optimal play at this stage. Because although I would be getting the KO on his Miltank, I've got 80 damage on my field, and he's going to be able to get an easy KO with Empoleon and knock all of that energy off, leaving me with just that one energy on the Deoxys. Now, I play a Plasma Ball here, and I'm doing it to thin my deck, because I know that I'm getting close to winning, and I know his ends are becoming very, very potent. Arguably, this was a bad play because late game, I often, with Thunderous Deoxys Kyurem, you're often needing just 10 more damage, and that Plasma Ball can get it for you. Now, I had to use Blizzard Burn there, I didn't want to, and I didn't put the Muscle Band on. Because even with the Muscle Band, I'm doing 80 damage, and that's just not enough. That Muscle Band may well come in useful later, and as he's playing a deck which is so focused around abilities, it's very vulnerable to Garbodor. So I'm expecting my opponent, as a deck relying on abilities, to be playing a bunch of Startling Megaphone. So I don't want to just chuck down my Muscle Band onto Pokemon which are not going to be using them yet, because all that's going to happen then is he's going to surprise Megaphone or whatever the hell it's called, and I'm going to lose them all. So really what I'm doing there is keeping it in my deck. Because by keeping it in my deck, I can use it later on, and I can lay it down as and when I need it. There may be an issue late game, where my Thunderous is going to be 10-20 damage off the KO, and it's going to come in handy. Now, one of the things I've tried to do with this deck is to try and make it consistent. I'm playing, I think, 4N, 4 Juniper, some Skylar, some Colress, some Bikes, 15 in total, including a couple of Bikes. And what I'm aiming and the power pad to get 2 of those supporters back, and a scramble switch, so I'm not playing computer search. And what I'm essentially trying to do here is make sure that I'm not getting end in a rubbish way. And I'm also, you'll notice I've been thinning my deck out quite nicely, so I know the Cold Speed is netting me nothing, but I'm going to get more from Bike by playing it. So although, yeah, he ended me to 2 and I drew a Bike, when you combine the amount of supporters and consistency cards I'm playing with the fact that I've been running out my deck, it's not terribly surprising that I drew out of that one. Annoying that I didn't do anything from the Bike, but hey ho, what can you do? Now I need to play the Escape Rope here because I used Blizzard Burn in the last turn, and by using Blizzard Burn it means I can't attack with Kyurem this turn, so I've got to do something. Now he puts the Miltank up, of course he puts the Miltank up, because Thunderous isn't getting the easy KO. So I retreat, it wastes an energy, but I'm not too worried about wasting an energy, because I only need one more prize after this, and I've got a Thunderous with an energy, so having only one Thunderous with an energy rather than 2 isn't going to do me any harm. I'm not going to get 4 energy on the Thunderous, essentially I need one more energy to close out the game, the energy on the Thunderous, and that energy is on the Thunderous, so it really makes no difference. Now he ends me to 1, and this is where the consistency in my deck really comes from. I've now got a boatload of damage on the field, he's going to get an easy 2 prizes, and it's really not, he's going to spread all the damage around, he's then going to do, now you'll notice here, he's not going to get a KO on the Kyurem. No, my apologies, he is going to get a KO on the Kyurem because he doesn't want me to kill him with a Kyurem next turn. But he's going to start taking prizes very, very quickly. I would imagine here, and I'm afraid I'm not playing this game live, so I can't quite remember, but what he should be doing here is KOing an EX, drawing a Lassand, and then trying to, unless he's already played a supporter. But anyway, he's going to be drawing very, very quickly. So the point I'm making here is that it's going to be the consistency of my deck which is really going to be at issue here. It's going to be, and he has played a supporter because he had me to 1. So he can't play Lassand, but even so, he's going to get the KO on the Kyurem to take my energy off the field, he's going to spread a bunch of damage round, and then next turn, he's going to have everything he needs. So I've really got to try and get something going this turn. He's enemy to 1, and the question is am I going to be able to get anything next turn? Now at the moment, he's obviously going to kill the Thunderous with energy on. That is the correct play. And then what is really going to come down to here is, can I get that Thunderous getting a KO? Now he's got the times 2 weakness. My Thunderous is doing 30, plus the 3 Deoxys 60, times 2 is 120. So I'm going to need a Laser Verbank, or I'm going to need a Deoxys, and this is why I should have saved the Plasma Ball for later on. And I'm going to need a Muscle Band. Now I draw the N, that's pretty good. I'm going to attach the energy, I'm going to play the N, and I draw the Muscle Band for the win. Now, I had, I believe, 2 Muscle Bands left, and there were other supporters left other than the N here, and I think there was a bike left, so although it appears that I got lucky drawing out of this, really, it all came down to having a deck running, which was set up to be consistent, and running through enough so that if I did get end late game, I was probably going to be okay. So hopefully, this has allowed you to see how Empoleon Miltank works, and it's allowed you another nice little look at TDK, and hopefully it's been just an enjoyable game to watch. It came down to the wire, and those games are always more fun. As always, if you like these, make sure you press the subscribe button, and go find yourself PTCGRadio, search for it on Google or iTunes, or go to ptcgradio.wordpress.com for the complete archive. Thank you very much for watching, and you can expect part 2 of this coming up very shortly indeed.